Welcome to Right Talk with Mike Lee. This is the 6th episode. As you know, I have an old saying that I made up, which is what's good for the black community is good for the community. And as you know, if you've watched other episodes, I'm more focused on solutions than problems. And with solution focus in mind, I have invited a special guest tonight. His name is Roger Davis. He's a member of the church that I'm a member of, Eastside Church of Christ. And Roger's going to tell us, you and me, about financial fitness. It's something that I know very little about. The college I went to only had one course in accounting. I took a lot of economics. Maybe we'll get into that, but I want Roger to tell us what is financial fitness and what is its importance.
Well, I'm a past president of NABA, National Association of Black Accountants, and the Financial Fitness Seminar is one of our key annual programs that we're very proud of. It's something that's open to all of the Greater Austin, and as you know, our world is big on getting physically fit, but to be successful in this world, you need to be financially fit. And a lot of people talk about starting businesses and being successful in business, but the number one business everyone should be successful in is the business of you. But it takes some knowledge, some wisdom to apply to make your life what you want it to be. And what we want to do in these classes, and the whole session is completely free to the community. We ask everyone to please register online at Eventbrite at www.eventbrite.com, and when the search box comes up, you just search for the 6th annual Financial Fitness Seminar.
Now, this is the 6th time you've had this seminar?
This is the 6th annual.
I am just hearing of this, and I've been here for 4 years.
Oh, yes. And, as you know, advertising dollars are expensive. And then, of course, we are building. We have to build toward, handling certain size. So we started out a smaller venue, and we've grown to the point where now we're housing the event at ACC Eastview campus, in building 8500 there, where we can take on over 300 participants, and so we're looking to grow it every year, and so as we grow it, we're looking to reach out to more and more of the community.
Are refreshments provided at this event?
As a matter of fact, the event is from 8:30 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon, and when participants arrive, between 8:30 and 9, we provide a free continental breakfast. After that, after a couple sessions, we provide a full lunch in the middle from 12 to 1. And then after some afternoon sessions, we even have some door prizes. So we're very excited and very proud of it. It gives, it helps our members fulfill one of our objectives in giving back to the community. It also gives us a way to highlight their skills to the community, because many individuals may not realize that they have this talent right around them that they can tap into.
Are you from Austin?
Originally from Chicago, Illinois.
What brought you to Austin? How'd you end up here?
Well, I've been working with 3M here in town, and I started with 3M in St. Paul in 1984, and then moved down with the company in 1987, and I've been here in Austin ever since. So this is home, and I enjoy it, and I believe in the Greater Austin community, and so this is a great way for myself and others to give back to the community, share our skills free of charge, and sharing some tips that I think that everybody should know a little bit about.
Now, this financial fitness seminar that you're talking about, you mentioned the different sessions that it has. What are some of those sessions?
Right. Well, the little phrase I like to coin is these are things you need to know from birth to death. Because depending on where you are and your stage in life, there are things that you should be aware of. Like at the beginning, we always have a session on budgeting, checking, and savings. I mean, everybody, that's a skill everybody needs to have. Yeah. But then there's sessions on how to prepare for college, how to pay for college, how to buy a home, in selecting insurance, tips on how to invest, how potentially keys about starting a business, uh, benefits. We're going to have a speaker on benefits. That's a key. A lot of people are making those healthcare choices right now, and you want to be wise on that. So we got someone speaking on that. We got someone speaking on tax planning, and as a matter of fact, that's part of the reason why this session is in November, because we want to have it as late in the year as possible to get as many tax changes as we can. But we stopped here because we wanted to have it before Thanksgiving and Christmas, because that's usually when most folk blow their budgets, because they're buying all that food, or they're buying all those gifts for little Johnny, little Susie, and Big Mama and Big Daddy. And so, come the first quarter, it's kind of hard to budget and plan, because they didn't really look at it, because they went out, the emotions took over.
They splurged for Christmas.
And now, you can give them all these skills, all this information, but it's kind of depressing, because they know they've made some mistakes.
So you have different speakers at different sessions?
We try to bring in experts in their field to speak on these different subjects. Now, of course, all of these subjects you could probably speak on for the whole day, but that's not the goal. We're not selling. Nothing is being sold. There's no products being sold, so people can feel comfortable that somebody's not going to be pressuring them to buy anything, but just giving them key tips on so hopefully it won't be intimidating or embarrassing to anyone. No matter whether you're a seasoned person who just kind of fine tuning, or maybe you're somebody on the other end of the spectrum who maybe really made some mistakes and really need to turn some things around. You won't have to worry about that at all. And one thing that we're very proud of is we have a session, where people will pull your credit report for free and walk through it with you. And so a lot of people see on TV where you can pull your free credit report, but they don't necessarily know how to read it and how it affects them. And so that's something that we're very proud of. That's something that we added last year, and because of people like it, we've continuing that as well.
Is there a specific audience that you target with this seminar, or is it broad reaching?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the whole family is welcome. And now, of course, we're having it. So we purposely selected the east side of Austin because there's a certain minority that we want to make sure has an ease of attendance, because we want to help the black community for sure. But no matter what race, color, creed you are, we hope to help anyone who's willing. It's a totally free event, and basically, the more financially fit all Austinites become, the better living it will be for everyone.
Okay. I was wondering if, what's your background, by the way?
Well, my background is accounting.
Yeah,
I went to school at Florida A&M, and I got my bachelor's in accounting, and after that, came right out of school and went to work. So it definitely has been a blessing for me, and I'm glad to share whatever tips I can to help someone.
Well, how long have you been with 3M?
Been with 3M over 32 years. Started back in May of '84 in St. Paul, and but like I said earlier, moved down here in '87 and spent the rest of that time here in Austin, Texas. So
that company moved from Minnesota down here?
Oh no. The global headquarters for 3M is still in St. Paul, Minnesota, But they also have, satellite headquarters in Austin, Texas, and Brussels, Belgium. And so for the business, 3M, even to the outside world, it's just 3M. But within 3M, we're it's the divisions are like separate companies. So four or five divisions moved down here, and so I had the opportunity to come and.
What division are you in?
So I'm a part currently of the communication markets division, and 3M makes tens of thousands of products. So most folk don't realize it, but they're either wearing or sitting or walking by a 3M product. The products my group makes is things for like the cable community. Matter of fact, they sell big cabinets to help your telephones, connections, and those kind of things. So a lot of the things that 3M sells, most folk don't know because we sell it to other companies. There's a few things that most folk are familiar with, like for Post-it notes. And most of the time when somebody asks me, well, what does 3M make? Usually I'll mention some of the commercialized products like that, Post-it notes, Scotch tape. Those are the things that folk recognize.
Yeah.
But the bulk of the things we make, the average person wouldn't be buying.
Okay. Now, how important is financial fitness
Well,
as a general matter?
well, it's very important to me and my colleagues in NABA. We're very proud of this profession. The accounting, finance, and business profession. It provides a great quality of life, and also is something. Some people equate it with math. It's not exactly math, but math is important. And I know a lot of people want to avoid that subject, but you can't you're going to be approached by your finances at some point. You got to deal with it. Everybody loves to spend, but since we don't know how long we're going to live, knowing how to save and plan becomes very important. Even at my own company at 3M, I was blessed to start when you have a pension as well as 401k. In a lot of situations now, people are just having 401ks. So that means the individual has to pay a little more attention to how that's handled. Whereas with a pension, it was pretty much for the majority part managed by the company on your behalf. And so, it's becoming more and more prevalent that people are going to have to start paying attention to some things that they normally didn't like to talk about or think about. They just, figured someone else would handle for them, and that's not the case going forward.
I think when people you hear the word pension, you mostly think about Enron. And what happened with that situation?
Well, that's a hard, bad example. You always have good and bad examples. Well, that's one of the eye-opening bad examples where a lot of employees had been put their trust in a company to handle their funds and investments, and unfortunately, I know it wasn't everyone at Enron, but for the individuals that did not follow the rules and regulations, unfortunately, it affected everyone at that company, and so people's life savings were completely wiped out.
What is the single most important element of just say financial fitness? Is it maintaining someone's credit or building someone's credit or ensuring that credit is good or what?
Well, the number one thing first is putting together a plan for the end goal you want to reach. And then, you got to know some knowledge of what that is. Matter of fact, the theme that I've held for this financial fitness is pretty much knowledge, wisdom, life. And so everybody wants to live a great successful, enjoyable life.
Right.
But to have that, you got to gain some knowledge of how that can come about, and then now is wisdom kind of implies that you're going to put that to use with some discipline. You know, you've got to, and so, you know, so first knowing what you want, because everybody's plan in life is going to be different. You know, someone might want to end up living in a nice single room home. Some might want a mansion. Some might want to live in the country. Some might want to live in the suburbs. Some might want to live in the city. All of those goals require a different amount of financing, amount of income. And so the earlier one can plan and put some discipline in place. Doesn't mean you can't set aside some funds for fun, for enjoyment, but some things are going to have to be left alone.
Well, how early should one begin playing? At what age do you think? Would you suggest?
Ideally, you know, hopefully parents are training their children as early as middle school. You know, but most folk, if you can start, and let me say this: it's never too late to start. But the later it becomes more difficult. Usually, hopefully, most folk will start in their late 20s. You know, I mean, maybe early 20s. Hopefully, no later than their 40s, they get started on something.
Well, when you
because
as I recall, when I was I think getting out of college, you start getting all these credit card applications and stuff like that. Is that dangerous or not?
Well, depending on who you talk to, some people feel no credit cards, all cash, and then other people, you know, because there's certain things without credit you can't do. So no one should get a credit card without understanding its purpose and its use. You know, because a credit card isn't a bad thing. But it is a bad thing if you have no discipline and no knowledge of how to handle it. Because if you get it, because some think a credit card is money. Well, no, a credit card is the bank's trust in an individual's ability to pay back what they use it for. That's really what it is. It's a line of credit from that bank. It's trust by that bank in you to properly manage it. And if someone gets that credit card, whatever amount, runs it up without even thinking about how they're going to pay it back, then their credit is ruined. Now, you can dig out of it, you can turn things around, but a portion of what credit is all about is trust. Another word for credit is trust. And so now there is a mark on your record that goes against your character.
So it says you can't be trusted, basically.
Basically, you when you run up that credit card and don't make the minimum payment or don't pay it off, you put a mark against your character, against how you can be trusted, and so that's not racism. That's not someone disliking you. Basically, that is how you have conducted. That's some behavior you have shown. Mm-hmm. You know, and so the earlier our community can learn that. You know, so because I'm not saying that there isn't, you know, racism and distrust and abuse of people.
We know that
we know those things exist. But when you take a credit card, you know, because you usually to get one, you have to sign some kind of document. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it's in person or nowadays in electronic age, you know, you can do it online.
Check a box.
Check a box, yes. And so that is you giving your word that you're going to act with a certain behavior, a certain conduct.
Now, you know, online they have a lot of small print, you know. You check this box, I agree to the terms, and conditions and blah, 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 blah. And I checked a few of those boxes unknowingly without really knowing all the consequences.
Right.
And I ended up with some vitamins and supplements that I really didn't want. And I really had to go back and correct that. And I think about truth in lending statutes and things like that.
Yes.
Big print and stuff like that.
Yes, a lot of those laws have come on. Matter of fact, you know, because I provide tax services also, and that's those laws, I'm taking exams and certifications on that every year. Because and that's great for the consumer. That it ensures that certain certain key fee structures are made clear to individuals. But it still never hurts to run those forms by somebody who has a more keener eye and understands what you're getting into. But at the base of any of those agreements, they're expecting you to have the ability to pay. And usually, in most cases, you're not going to be able to even enter into that unless you have demonstrated the ability to pay. And usually they find that out before they even present you with that contract to sign. And at least that's the hopes. Now, there may be some exceptions where people are trying to take advantage of people. But.
So say, for example, when people receive these credit card offers in the mail, they've already peeped you a little bit.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I mean, well, businesses exist to make a profit. So so they have done some due diligence. I don't, some may be more than others. For example, some of our, college students or maybe students right out of high school, usually on the application, you should have indicated that you should either have a job or you have the potential to gain a job. So that's the reason they're allowing you the opportunity for that credit card.
Is there a recommended amount that someone should be saving periodically or anything like that? Or a certain amount they should be paying in rent, a certain percentage of what they make and things like that?
Well, there's a lot of rules of thumb on that as well, and again that goes back to if an individual can sit down and know the end goal they want. I mean, like for us, being Bible believing people, we believe in 10% to the Lord, 10% for yourself. To put away, and then you live off 80%. For some people, they may do less, they may do more. So that's something that I might recommend for myself or my family. But that's an individual choice. But hopefully, when someone goes through our financial fitness seminar, if it's at zero, they will move it up. And, if you're not saving anything, then that's not good. During our seminar, we won't tell anyone the percentage that they need to save. If they press me, I'll give them the recommendation that I have for myself and my family. But that's still that individual's choice, and that's why the way we have the seminar the way it is that we want to give you key concepts and answer some basic questions. Now, of course, if somebody wants more, well, then we hope that they might seek a separate session with the experts that are there, because we don't want anybody divulging any personal information because it will be in a classroom setting. So but something like that, that would be my response to that question. because I believe, because that 10% to the Lord is taking care is really taking care of the community, because our church cares about the church family as well as the community, and then 10% put aside to take care of myself and the family in the future, and then 80% live off that 80%. And so that's the general rule. But again, husband and wife need to sit down,
Okay.
and come to those decisions themselves.
I'd like to ask this question. Let's say this financial seminar starts at what, 8:30 in the morning, lasts till,
Till 3:30.
okay, what is the goal, or what is the main goal to try to be accomplished in that time frame during the seminar? Seminar is purpose to do what? Just make a person aware of things, or what?
Well, number one is awareness, most definitely. But number two is we pray that individuals will take action on one or several of these key concepts. Because, as a matter of fact, because, and the reason it's free is because we have sponsors. So we will have a very simple survey for people to take. And it's anonymous. So no one has to be worried about their information. We don't ask for your name on the survey, but we're going to ask for education level, income level, and just a few other demographics, of age and those kind of things. And we're hoping, because we want the current attendees to continue to come, and we want new attendees to come, and so that we can measure, at a very basic level, the impact, because everyone should have some basic living coverage.
Okay, how have you guys been doing in terms of attracting? You say you've been growing in these 6 years. You've grown from what to what?
Well, we
When you started, it was something. What is it now?
right. Well, we started out averaging roughly about 40 to 50 attendees, and now we're up to around 80 to 100 attendees, and so we're looking to grow that a little every year. And now and the marketing tools that basically we've been using to this point has pretty much just been word of mouth, public radio, and then contacting friends and family at other churches. So
Is NABA a 501c3?
NAB is a 501c organization, and matter of fact, the Austin Syntax chapter, is a part of the national organization, which actually started back in 1969.
Is the Central Texas chapter a separate 501c3 from the national?
No, it's all the chapters use the
National
under the group
umbrella?
501(c)(3).
Okay. And do you have much contact or communication with other nonprofits around the Central Texas area?
Oh yes. Matter of fact, I have the pleasure of working with other, major black nonprofit organizations here in town through the Black Professional Alliance. That's something which is started, over 10 years ago. And matter of fact, been having a mixer every year, and I always tap into those talents when I need speakers here as well. For example, the Austin Black Lawyers Association is another nonprofit here in town, and I usually go to them to speak on our session for estates, trust, and wills, which is unfortunate for a lot of our black, homes. They let a lot of the wealth that they have go away, go back to the state, go back to the federal. It's taken away from that family because a will or a trust was not established before death, and so I tap into that talent there, and of course, there is there's National Society of Black Engineers here. There is National Forum for Black Public Administrators, Black Firefighters. I mean, there's just a wealth of talent.
What about the churches? Have you been well received by the churches, or is there any involvement or input from them?
Well, that's something that we definitely are going to have to do a better job at. Usually, at this point, we have just depended on our members to present it at the different black churches around the area, and so that's something that we're probably going to have to maybe do a better job of tracking, how the word is getting out at the different churches.
Because it seems to me that the church is actually it's kind of like the cultural and active center of the black communities, and so it seems to me that a nexus with that group is crucial. It would seem to me, if that is the crucial link for the black community, that it's important to tap into that as a resource and as a mechanism.
Oh yeah, and whatever way that works, and I'm definitely willing to work with any group, and the better organized they are, the easier it is to get that word out.
Okay.
The easier it is to get that word out, and I encourage anyone, to call, text, or email me if they have any questions. They can, you can call or text me my cell phone at 512-366-0483.
I have one other question. This financial fitness seminar, is there a Facebook page for it or anything like that? Just Eventbrite.
It's on Eventbrite. When people sign up on Eventbrite, they're welcome to post that they're going to be in attendance, and that's another way we utilize social media to spread the word as well, and so that we encourage people to do that, and encourage them to invite their friends and to come on out, and I think it's amazing, even for myself, the things, the little tips that you can learn to even sharpen your own plan, because sometimes this can be one of those things that folk don't like to talk about. I mean, even couples, because they worry. Well, I don't want honey to mess in my pot. This is my pot of money. That's your pot of money. And lots of times you ask couples, what they're spending, and compared to, and then you ask them for a month, write down everything you spent, and usually that is far more than what they thought they were spending in their head, because a lot of people, unfortunately, have a budget in their head, but it's not down on paper. It's not down, maybe not down on, because there's budget tools on phones, on your computer. There's many ways. You can use pencil and paper, whichever way, but something concrete is far better than
in your head,
just in my head only.
So who are some of the speakers you're going to have at the financial fitness seminar this year?
Oh,
you know of some? Who are they?
Okay, well,
that you can tell us.
And I'll give a shout out to Three Chicks Soul Food. They're going to be providing the refreshments. So there's a black catering service here in town, and honored to have Brother George Williams, the minister at Eastside Church of Christ. He's going to kind of kick it off, and after the welcome, to inspire the people to really be focused as they go into these sessions. Don't go to sleep, because this is something that can really help. Just to kind of give and they're in our sessions, so we'll have after the opening expiring talk, we'll have a session at 10 and 11. Then lunch from 12 to 1. Then we'll have sessions at 1 and 2 o'clock, and then at 3 o'clock we wrap it up with the door prizes. At 10 o'clock, Caleb Davis will be speaking on Google apps and tools, to kind of help some people take advantage of the things that can help them.
Okay. Who put this program together that you're referring to, Roger?
Myself, along with our financial fitness committee. I've been the chair for the last 6 years, and so I work with other members of NABA and other people in the financial area. We'll have Kenya Francis, who's with the Farm Credit Bank family. She'll be talking about purchasing land and homes in rural areas, because of the issues about affordability housing in the city of Austin. Many people have to look at purchasing homes outside of the city of Austin, so that becomes a good topic. We'll have Tawana Kinney from Wells Fargo Bank talking about college preparation. Betty Davis talking about home improvement, home insurance. Betty Davis is with Frost Bank, and then Karina Alvarez will be leading a team in the computer room, assisting people pulling their credit report and walking through that with them. So those are the first 4 or 5 sessions that kick us off.
Okay.
And then every grouping, we have something coming up on that, about starting a business.
And then you got something to eat when it starts, and something to eat in the middle, and something to eat then.
Exactly. So we hope people come early and stay the whole day. They can come for the first half, or they can come for the second half. Because we understand, people work and other things. You got other family activities, football and soccer and all these other things. But we really feel that if they come, they'll want to come back, because they'll feel that the information is valuable.
I see it's on a Saturday. Is that to optimize the attendance of people at work?
It makes it, well, we're hoping that it makes it easier for people, and of course, we're looking in the future to maybe expanding to maybe other times, but Saturday has been a convenient time to this point, and unfortunately we can't catch everyone, but at this point it's been a convenient time for our presenters as well as our attendees.
Is parking at ACC going to be a problem?
And that's it should be great. Parking is right available. It's right around the building. It's in building 8500 at ACC. So there's parking right there in front and behind the building, and it's handicap accessible as well, and which is great, because in the previous location we were, it wasn't that, the one that we started out in. So we're really glad about that as well.
So you moved on up, huh?
We're trying. We're trying, and trying to make it, because of course we encourage all our attendees to fill out the survey, and evaluations after the sessions, because their input is important into making it improve every year.
Okay. So Roger, I guess my main question is, why should a person attend this seminar? Tell our audience, please.
Like I mentioned at the beginning, the number one business that everyone should be a success at is themselves and their families. I mean, that's the number one business that everyone should be a success at, and I know everyone would like that success to be better. Okay, and so and that's the main reason I think everyone should be concerned, because anytime you allow complacency in any area of your life, you know, it can affect you in such a way where it can cause you to live below the means that you planned, because you didn't cover certain areas. For example, everyone's pretty much familiar with what happened during Katrina.
Right.
And you can even recent developments in some of these Caribbean countries, and of course, in some cases, maybe there wasn't the means. But if you have the means and you don't prepare, that's a sad state of affairs. Mm-hmm. And no one living in Austin, I feel, I don't know everybody's situation, but I feel we live in a great place. I mean, we have things that can be improved, but everyone here in Austin, I think, has the opportunity and the access to tools like this and other services to make sure that your situation is protected. Because in making that successful endpoint in life, there's some protection and there's some preparation that has to be done. For example, insurance is protection. Uh-huh. That's basically what it is. Once you gain certain resources, and even more important than the physical resources, material resources, is the physical resource. Yourself, mm-hmm. Your spouse, your kids, that's paramount. And so protection has to be first. Mm-hmm. And looking at, and you may have something, but looking at it and having someone look at it who's an unbiased expert eye, who wouldn't want to listen to something like that? Mm-hmm. Someone who cares, who's unbiased, who's separated from the situation, can give you some helpful advice for you to look at your situation objectively for improvement. And that's and as we mentioned before, no one's going to be selling you anything at this session. Now, of course, we hope after you get the information, if you think one of our expert speakers can assist you, we'd hope that you would use their services in the future, but that's something that would be done separate from this.
That's not the purpose of this particular seminar.
This purpose is to provide, like you say, so you can have that awareness of these tools, and you can, yourself see where you have need to improve, and so, because as our communities better themselves, it helps everyone. It helps everyone.
Well, anyone who's watched my show any number of times knows that I believe that what's good for the black community is good for the community. Mm-hmm. And that's one reason I want to have you come on and talk about the importance and significance of financial fitness, because it's something that I believe our community should be made more aware of, mm-hmm. and should do more executing in that area, mm-hmm. to be more effective as a community. Mm-hmm. I just feel that the financial fitness is something everyone should know about, including me, especially me.
Yeah. It's so many areas. For example, for our youth as well, we've got very talented and intelligent youth, and it's such a shame to go through 8 to 12 years of school, and then have no plan to be able to pay for college or trade. Mm-hmm. Everybody should have either a college degree or a trade in something, so that you can have a minimum quality of life that you can enjoy. Mm-hmm. And but again, that takes some level of planning, and you know there's certain deadlines that you got to meet. You know, because for example, um, if you want to get into a certain college, if you don't apply in time, if you don't fill out the housing application in time, you know, scholarship applications have deadlines. You know, so you can be the smartest individual, but if the deadline passes, you can't be rewarded. So, you know, so making our parents, our youth, aware of these things. I mean, in talking to some of my fellow nonprofit organizations, there are times when there's scholarship money to give, and we're not aware of the students to give them to. So scholarship money goes unawarded. So, so you know, so these are the things that you know, hopefully through things like this, that our community will be better served.
Are these sessions going to be small enough that a person might have a chance to interact with the speaker?
Oh yes, oh yes, and that's why at every session we, you know, so we utilize the main auditorium in building 8500 for a session, and then we have 4 other sessions. So
There's smaller sessions because some people are a little bit shy when you get in bigger environments.
Exactly. So, and that's another reason why we hope people will come back, because, you know, as you grow and mature, you know, just get older in life, your focus and need is different. So that's the reason for these different sessions. You know, for example, you know, budgeting. You know, budgeting. Hopefully, some of our mature individuals, they may not see that one as a need for themselves. You know, but some of our younger individuals or youth would might see that as a need. And for example, some of our older attendees, estates, trusts, and wills. You see, so you know, we do our best to offer some classes that can hit people. And for example, we have our sessions on you know, on how to do business or you know, with the city or to start business. You know, Elton Price with our you know, with our you know, small business resources group here with the city. They have excellent resources, and Claudia Connor, who's been a stalwart, you know, in helping business get started and training, because everyone, you know, may not, you know, want to work for another company, you know, or they may be working for another company, and that's coming, and they may want to start their own business, and there's some keys to think about for that business to start off well. And so some people might be thinking about that. And so hopefully we've got a nice cross section of classes, and we welcome people's suggestions. Maybe there's something that we're missing that we need to include, and we'd love to do that.
Is the various chambers of commerce cooperating with you guys in your effort?
Oh, and matter of fact, I always contact the Greater Austin Black Chamber. Matter of fact, Tawana Kinney is a board member, as well as myself. So you know, I definitely believe in that, and want to keep them involved, and in hopes that if somebody is thinking about starting their own business, that they might you know, consider becoming a member of the chamber.
And these sponsors you have, are they long-time sponsors or sponsors that you've just recruited?
Excuse me. Well, you know, there's always new sponsors that we could potentially have, but some of our long-term sponsors have been, you know, 3M, my company, and Frost Bank. Dell has been a sponsor. You know, Charles Schwab has been a sponsor, and So we're very thankful, to our sponsors in making this happen. With I'm just trying to think of others. Access Financial has been a sponsor, and so we're very proud of them supporting this effort. They believe like us in supporting the community.
So you've got private sponsors, not government sponsors, correct?
Well, of course, we host it currently at Austin Community College. So
Okay.
I
I guess it's a public sponsor.
That's a public sponsor, and we're very proud. And Austin Community College, that organization is supported by our tax dollars, and they offer many great services, for students, to better their education. So, and Loretta Edlin has been instrumental in supporting us, and she does a great job in serving the community for ACC. So we're glad to work with her as a partner as well.
And his knowledge of this event, I guess the college students will know about from Houston, Tillotson, and UT, correct?
Well, matter of fact, NABA, we mentor 4 student chapters. So we encourage our college students every year to participate.
Where are those chapters?
And we currently mentor chapters at UT Austin, UT San Antonio, Houston Tillotson, and Texas State.
Okay.
And so sharp students, so we encourage them to take advantage of the sessions, but also even to volunteer as well, because they're excellent role models to some of the youth that come, and so that they can, to some of the youth, I may look a little old and but the college students are much closer to those youth, and they say, hey, if this student can do it, maybe I can do it.
Not in the flyer you sent me. It's not an FBI photo. But you didn't have any gray in this, so I say, I'm not sure that's Roger. I guess that's him.
But yeah, we encourage, because especially our college students, they're right on the doorstep of putting their plans into action, because they're going to soon be, getting into the workforce.
Yeah.
So we definitely, encourage them to attend and start putting these things into practice.
It seems to me that the earlier you learn these principles and put them into practice, the better your interests will be served in the long run.
Yes.
It seems to me.
Yes, and that's a truism in anything. The more you can put it into practice, and it becomes a good habit, then hopefully it becomes second nature. As far as following some of these principles.
So this financial annual finance is it's the 6th year, correct?
6th annual.
This really reminds me of the Race Unity Symposium in Houston Tillotson. I just learned about that maybe 2 years ago, and I've been here almost 4 years. And it's going into its 11th year. And it seems to me that one of the things that I hope to do is to prevent all us in the community from operating in silos. The right hand not knowing what the left hand is doing. I think the more communication that we have between us, and the more cooperation we have between us, the more we become cohesive as a community and become a better community.
Yes.
That's really what I hope for. And I believe that your financial fitness seminar is something that everyone should know about.
Yeah.
And then if they don't want to go, don't go.
Yeah.
But at least have the option of the knowledge that it exists, and you have the opportunity.
And usually everybody knows somebody who could benefit.
Yeah.
In your neighborhood, at your job site, at your school, at your church. If you feel you've mastered all these concepts, you probably know at least one other individual who may need a little help.
Well,
and maybe bring them along and walk through it with them. Because sometimes a good word from a caring friend can help somebody get started on the right path.
I believe that everyone knows something that someone else does not know because of their peculiar experience. And the more that we're able to bring people together to share ideas and to share information, the better off we'll be as a community and as an individual, actually, because it gives you a chance to learn.
Yes, exactly. Agree wholeheartedly, and you know, the more we come together and talk, we all benefit. Fellowship is one of the key tenets of the church growing, and I think it's one of the tenets of building unity and building strength.
This is the Right Talk Show. We want to talk right, think right, act right, and do right. We want to get it right. I think the more that we focus on getting it right and the more that we focus on getting solutions, the better community we'll have. Black, white, green, red, yellow, I don't care what color community I'm talking about a better community for all. 30 seconds. But again, this financial fitness seminar is Saturday, November 12th at Austin Community College on 3401 Weberville Road in Austin.
Yes, Austin, building 8500.
Building 8500.
Right, and people are welcome to come. It's a free event. We do encourage people to register ahead of time on Eventbrite. And that's just to assist us in planning the food.
More than anything else, free food. Free food will get me almost every time. Thank you for joining me this evening. Again, my guest was Roger Davis. He was talking about financial fitness in the upcoming seminar at Austin Community College. We hope that you will attend. Thank you. 58, there we go.